I understand it comes from a place of hurt. Generally, when people are being violent, on some level, in some form, it's coming from a place of hurt. Sure. But if they're doing hundreds of gunpoint robberies, mostly to women, to people of all races, where I have lived in poverty my whole life, it makes it hard for us to keep jobs, to find jobs, to live life, to fight through mental health issues, to fight through our poverty. And it's not just one demographic of women, it's all kinds of women being targeted. This is systemic violence as well. And there's more than that.
I just want to turn to the audience and ask them, who here has been assaulted, held up, or beat up? Just raise your hand. That's pretty sad. We're all fed up because of you and your policies, and you call these criminals. They're criminals. I worked in Richmond for 10 years, and I see that cycle over and over again. You need to start telling people to stop having kids or have them if they're ready for them. Because I see kids that are not being taken care of, they're not loved by their own parents. Now, I'm asking you to let the cops start off giving tickets to low-level offenses, starting with license plates. Because I have it right here. This is California Vehicle Code, and I'm going to cite it for you. Write it down.
The kind of racist messages that my office has received and directed at me personally is unprecedented.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about, yet again, another you get what you vote for story, but this time it's not Chicago, okay? We're actually going to another liberal city, this time out in California, Oakland, California, where you have residents that are currently revolting against the Democrats on city council that they voted for, right? Because the city's crime is out of control, okay? It's out of control. It's the same old story that we hear time and time again in these liberal cities. And I do so much of these stories because I want people to understand just how terrible these liberal cities are, and the fact that if you vote Democrat in your city, this is what you're voting for. This is eventually what's going to happen, okay? Your city is going to become a city of chaos. The criminals will run your city. Again, Oakland, which again is one of these liberal cities, have experienced an uptick in violent crime, right? And now the residents are revolting. Take a look.
People packed right into a community meeting tonight to address crime and violence in their Oakland neighborhood.
KTVU's Jana Katsuyama was there. She joins us now live with the details. Jana.
Julie and Mike, there was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of despair and anger. People got up and shared stories about being attacked, being robbed, having mentally ill people defecating on their doorsteps. And a lot of these residents said that they feel like they aren't being heard. City Council member Dan Kalb organized the community meeting at the Oakland Tech High School auditorium. A crowd of hundreds showed up and lined up, frustrated and angry, sharing their stories.
It is one of the most terrifying things that's happened to me in my life.
Denise Lillian described being attacked last Monday by young people she thought at first needed help.
On the corner of 45th and Shafter, down on the pavement, punching me, kicking me, dragging me through the street.
A business owner said he worried about his staff's lives with multiple armed robberies.
My staff has been held up at gunpoint 4 times in 6 years. The last time that my staff got held up at gunpoint, Oakland native, military veteran, black man from Oakland almost got shot and killed.
And this father said he wants the city to draw a line and send a message of zero tolerance.
We need to stop the violent, the killers. We're coming after y'all.
Who wants to live like this?
Police say they are going to work on getting more visible patrols through the neighborhoods, and Kalb says he will push for more consequences.
If they're committing these violent crimes repeatedly, we can't just say, oh, please don't do this again. We have to catch them and create consequences. And we'll send another email letter to the district attorney talking about this very thing.
The Oakland Department of Violence Prevention's interim chief and one school board member who was present said the city has had some success with their intervention teams, working directly with troubled youth at Oakland schools to steer them away from violence and crime. But the budget does not cover all schools.
These are teams of 3 people, and they go out and actually help students who are struggling.
We would probably need about 6 to 9 more individuals just to have the 3 teams at every comprehensive high school in Oakland.
And tonight after the meeting, I talked to some people who said they wish that there would be more of these community meetings between residents and city officials. I did just get a message from Dan Kalb. He says that he plans to follow up on many of these issues with the area captain. And he also says he's going to push hard in the budget for continued overtime funding to try and make sure that the police are able to fill gaps. Julie?
Yeah, good packed meeting there tonight. Jana, thank you. Now,
yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, you guys already know how this story is going to go, okay? You already know how it's going to go. These residents are upset and outraged about something that they voted for, right? They literally voted for this. Like, for example, again, that city council, they're all Democrats, right? All Democrats. They also voted for a new woke DA, a black woman, Pamela Price. Okay, you got to celebrate that because she's black, which objectively means that she's good, right? That means she's going to do a great job in her spot as DA, okay? Because she's allegedly black and she allegedly has a vagina, right? This is what they tell us. And any criticism of her is racist, okay? It can't be because she's doing a bad job. It can't be because she's soft on crime. It can't be any of that, right? It has to be because you're racist, okay? If you criticize her, who has outraged judges by offering a triple murderer a plea deal which saw him jailed for just 15 years instead of 75 to life that he was facing. So we have that story, and we also have another story about how she doesn't really seem to care too much about crime done to people of certain skin colors as well. And again, this is what these people voted for. Take a look.
New controversy for Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price. Her office has dropped 2 murder charges against an accused triple murderer. Delonzo Logwood was charged with killing 3 people back in 2015. This morning, he remains in custody charged with only 1 count of murder. This case made headlines when Price offered a 15-year plea deal in exchange for pleading guilty to 1 of the murders. The plea deal was rejected by a judge. Well, now Price says the judge agreed to drop 2 of the murder charges. Logwood was already served 14 years. The DA says this case was in limbo under her predecessor, Nancy O'Malley, under charges filed by her. Logwood was facing 75 years to life if he was convicted. Price said O'Malley overcharged and mismanaged the case. Price released a statement yesterday saying, in part, the court's rejection of that proposed plea agreement in March created an unexpected barrier to our efforts to resolve the case. Today, the judge accepted our evaluation of the evidence in the case and dismissed the 2 murder charges to match the evidence in the case. We're learning attorneys on both sides of this will return to court today to continue those proceedings. Amanda.
To our top story, 26-year-old Blake Mose was working as a security guard for a Pleasanton Home Depot. His mom said he used to talk to her about shoplifting, that it happened all the time at work. He even told her people would pull out weapons. It was certainly enough to worry her as a mother. And in the end, her worst nightmare came to pass. Mose was killed on the job last month. Police say a shoplifter shot and killed him. But as Betty Yu reports, his family is worried they will not see justice.
26-year-old Blake Mose was shot to death by a shoplifter at Home Depot who stole a charger for a power tool, according to police. Benicia Knapp's and suspected getaway driver David Guillory were arrested. Benicia's 2-year-old daughter was also inside the waiting car.
My son was only 26. He didn't even see the gun. He didn't have any idea. He was doing his job and it was over. He was back in the store safe, and this woman came back for him.
Blake's mom, Lori Mose, choked back tears 6 weeks to the day her son, a loss prevention employee, was killed at this Pleasanton store. In that time, the family says District Attorney Pamela Price never reached out. It was only after consistent outreach on their part that a DA assigned to the case responded.
The phone call was that Pamela Price was not going to meet with us. She was not going to have a conversation with us. And we discussed my concerns about the charges and the fact that we were not being kept in the loop.
Blake's parents were told Price had a full schedule until mid-June. They also learned that both suspects are felons.
She is facing murder charges and something called little gun, which means 5 years. It's not robbery. It's not intent to rob. And there are no special circumstances or enhancements being added at all. And we were told by the DA that is on our case that we should expect none because it is the policy of Pamela Price. It doesn't make any logical sense in my heart, in my space, or anything.
Now to a second case that's also drawing negative attention to the district attorney's office. It involves the family of Jasper Wu. The toddler was asleep in his car seat when he was killed, struck by a stray bullet in a rolling gun battle between rival gangs on 880 in Oakland. The shooting happened in November of 2021. His family spoke only to ABC 7 News anchor Dion Lim today about a meeting they had with the DA this week, which left them unsettled.
When I sat down with Ann Wu and her husband 1 month ago, they expressed concerns over Alameda County DA Pam Price's new guidelines, not allowing prosecutors to file or require defendants plead to sentencing enhancements. Those worries were made tenfold this week after Price met with the Wu family on Tuesday.
My main concern is still the same. I still worry that it won't be the full extent of sentencing.
Jasper Wu was tragically shot and killed on November 6, 2021, during what law enforcement call rolling gunfire between rival gangs on 880. Prior to that meeting, I also obtained a series of emails which Price sent to members of the Asian American community and county supervisors. In one, she claims certain vocal members of the local Chinese community and media, including reporter Dion Lim, misled the public. In another email 1 week later, Price addresses Chinese communities, calling many misinformed and blamed them for spreading misinformation. It's something that did not sit well with Ms. Wu.
I don't think we or the Chinese community, we were not misinformed.
Or the National Asian Pacific Islander Prosecutors Association, a group of mostly federal, local, and state prosecutors, which issued this letter denouncing Price's emails and messaging to the public.
It was a little condescending. It was discussing how people, some people, and it was referencing Asian Americans or Chinese Americans earlier, don't know the basic constitutional law and basic rights and basic laws like innocent until proven guilty. And so I really felt a little bit offended.
NAPIPA also invited DA Price to meet.
We don't want to be divisive. We don't want to split things up. We want to all work together and come to a solution where there's justice for Jasper, justice for everybody that's involved in this particular case and in all cases.
Price also released a series of videos on social media after meeting with the Wu family, defending her office and calling the media out again.
Some people, including reporters, are saying things that are not based on facts.
In a second video, Price expressed sympathy for Jasper's murder, but also claimed the case was being used to attack her office.
The kind of racist messages that my office has received and directed at me personally is unprecedented.
While Ms. Wu was hesitant to comment too much about her feelings on DA Price, she asks for one thing.
I would like to see the maximum sentencing to the fullest extent be charged in Jasper's case.
I reached out to Pam Price's office for comment and was referred back to her.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Again, it's the same old story, right? It's just a story that is repeating itself in each one of these liberal cities, okay? You have these residents who come out here and they vote Democrat, okay? And not only do they vote Democrat, they vote for progressive Democrats, okay? Because some people may argue, they'll say, well, Republicans don't run in these cities. Well, I mean, they don't have a chance of winning, so why would they run? But regardless, I'm just saying, they don't just vote Democrat, they vote progressive, okay? They vote progressive, and then they get exactly what they vote for, and then they turn around and they boo-hoo, whine, and cry when the progressives are implementing progressive criminal justice reform, which I've argued is the biggest threat to this country domestically, right? Is progressive criminal justice reform. And then they want to boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it. And don't get me wrong, I do feel bad for families, like the couple of families that I showed you guys in these videos that, who knows, maybe they didn't vote for this, okay, who have to suffer the consequences, right? Because apparently this woman cares more about criminals and making sure that they're not overly sentenced, okay, more so than care about getting justice, right? Again, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But again, you know, I mean, the point of these videos is not that, you know, these people are going to change their voting habits. That's probably not going to happen. But maybe, just maybe, it sends a message to any other city, right, that is not currently being ran by Democrats to understand that, look, this is what's going to happen if you continue to vote overwhelmingly progressive for decades on end. What happens is you get to the point where you do become cuckoo for Cocoa Puff world, right? And it happens every single time, whether you talk about Oakland, whether you talk about Chicago, whether you're talking about Portland, Oregon, right? I mean, all these places, it's the same thing. They vote for the same people, the same policies. And then they wonder why they have all of these problems. It's because they vote for it, right? So, again, you know, there's really not that much else to say. Okay, I mean, they're stuck with this woke DA. That's who they voted for. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.